There could possibly be no more Johnson & Johnson vaccines offered in the country. The DPM wants Exuma to be a hub, and local doctors giving their opinion on the booster rollout. Good evening, everyone. I'm Tyler Simnett with your JCN News for this Wednesday, December 22nd. Off the heels of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's advisory panel making it clear that they prefer Pfizer and Moderna vaccines over Johnson & Johnson, Minister of Health and Wellness Dr. Michael Darville advising that the government is not likely to purchase any more doses of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine due to a lack of intake by the Bahamian people.
As far as the study is concerned, there was a recommendation that showed preference towards Pfizer and Moderna. It didn't say Johnson & Johnson is not effective. For us here in the Bahamas, when we purchased the Johnson & Johnson in the country, we realized that the uptake was not as aggressive as we thought it would be when Pfizer came on stream. And so for us who have a surplus of Johnson & Johnson now in our arsenal and having great difficulty to convince Bahamians to take Johnson & Johnson, it's very unlikely that we will go ahead and purchase additional Johnson & Johnson at this time. But I want the Bahamian people to know that Johnson & Johnson is an effective vaccine, and there's also a program in place for booster shots as it relates to Johnson & Johnson.
Now, Dr. Darville has gone on record to say that the Bahamas supplies of Johnson & Johnson vaccines are set to expire before the end of the year. The health minister says that they are making progress with those.
We're making progress. Some of the Johnson & Johnson was sent to another country. We do see some uptake of the Johnson & Johnson locally, and we encourage every Bahamian out there to come forth. We use some social mobilization to be able to capture that group of individuals who are still undecided but still willing. And so we encourage everyone to go out and be vaccinated and take into consideration the Johnson & Johnson jab.
Currently, there are 153,107 individuals fully vaccinated in the country, including the J&J vaccine, and 145,910 excluding. Exuma will soon be picking up pace as Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation Chester Cooper recently gave reporters an update as it relates to transforming the Exuma International Airport into a hub, not only for the South and Central Bahamas, but for the Northern Caribbean region. He says Phase 1 will commence as early as next summer.
We want Phase 1 to coincide with the opening of our new airport here. So March 2023 is the date for the opening of the new terminal. We're sending a signal to all of our partners that June 2023 is the date when we want the first phase of Exuma as a hub to happen. Now, this isn't just flowery language and talk. We're going to make it happen.
But before that happens, Mr. Cooper says Exuma needs more service. That's more housing, offices, and maybe even an airport hotel. So far, approximately 36% of the Bahamian population has been fully vaccinated against the COVID-19 virus. With the battle against COVID and the global pandemic it has created still raging on, local doctors were asked on Wednesday how responsive the general public has been in relation to the rollout of the COVID-19 booster shots. Dr. Sabrika Pinder-Butler, president of the Consultant Physician Staff Association, gave the following update.
So what I would say is we have had a lot of persons actually inquiring about booster shots and actually wanting to have those boosters. And I think that the persons that perhaps had them earlier on were the persons who were motivated to get shots. And so we think that it's doing pretty well. We do know, and I'm pleased that the Ministry of Health did start to allow persons to have those shots. And we want to encourage persons to continue to get vaccinated. Get your booster shots. Those persons that still haven't been vaccinated as yet.
Dr. Pinder-Johnson was also asked to give the consultant physician's opinion on how the government has gone about giving or not giving permission to host large social events. Some promoters have been allowed to host events using COVID protocols, while others are not.
Well, certainly, the Ministry of Health has teams and various experts there that look at various policies that are needed related to events. Having said that, unfortunately, we know that despite us sometimes having rules and regulations, unless we have persons who are policing those things, similarly with seat belts, etc., we just aren't always able to police ourselves on our own. So I think that the ministry perhaps needs to look again at re-engaging the COVID police, the ambassadors, etc., to perhaps visit these activities before they occur, and perhaps visit while they're going on, just to ensure that we're all following those guidelines.
Dr. Pinderbrello was also asked about there being some calls from those in political opposition to reinstate the need for COVID-19 PCR testing at the international border with the onset of the COVID Omicron variant. She is of the opinion that if PCR testing is the best practice to protect citizens of the Bahamas, then it should be considered. Meantime, health officials confirmed 26 additional cases of COVID-19 for Monday, December 20th. 25 confirmed here in the capital, 18 of which had a history of travel within 14 days, and 1 case confirmed with the location pending. Total cases now stand at 23,161. Active cases are now at 535, 21 of which are in hospital. 20 of those hospitalized cases are considered mildly ill, and 1 patient is in intensive care. No additional deaths reported. The death toll remains at 713, with 38 deaths still under investigation. 17 cases recovered that day, pushing total recoveries to 21,725. Good news for those islands in the Special Economic Recovery Zone. The Minister for Grand Bahama, Ginger Moxie, is pleased to advise the public of the recent extension of the amendment to the SER's order for building supplies. The extension will allow for the continuation of duty-free and value-added tax-free importation of construction materials to Grand Bahama and Abaco by residents and business owners through to December 31st, 2022. This extension of the amendment to the SER's order applies to local and international purchases of the following: building materials, plumbing fixtures and materials, electrical fixtures and materials, household furniture, furnishings and appliances, hardware supplies. This extension supports the Davis administration's commitment to assist the people of Grand Bahama and Abaco with the ongoing restoration and rebuilding of homes and businesses, which were extensively damaged or destroyed by the passage of Category 5 Hurricane Dorian in 2019. You're watching JCN News. Stay with us.